Hey guys, how you doing? This is Brother Bill, and I'm out here behind the house, and I've done some changes. I've moved my asparagus plants around that was on the back side, and the other day I bought 2 concord grapevines, and I'm sure this is an original idea, but what I've done is just took a cattle panel, 16 foot, and hooped it over, as you can see right there, and I thought maybe I would put one of these plants on either side and train it to grow up and over. I thought that would be kind of neat, but I've never grown grapevines before, so any suggestions, you let me know. I do got the holes dug, and I've noticed that the rain drains really good right here in this area, and I researched that, and it said it needed good drainage for grapevines to grow. And this is what I'm putting in the holes. I just mowed the yard, so I've got that fresh grass. I've got some biochar. I've got some rabbit manure and some chicken compost underneath all that business. And I got a little bit of ash left from the smoker the other day. So anyway, I'm going to get these in the ground. You let me know if you've got any suggestions that may help these things grow. And I'll be back here in a minute once I get them in the ground. All right then. All right, guys, I got those grapevines planted, and what I did, I added some of this material right here. It's got a bark in it, and before I planted the vines, I mixed that in with the other stuff that you saw in the wheelbarrow, and it's for drainage. It's supposed to have good drainage for these grapevines. And inside I just took some old wood that I had in the barn down there, and I made 2 flower beds. I was just thinking maybe some lettuces or something like that, and put those in there on either side. So anyway, I'm curious to see how this is going to work out. That's the concord grapevines that we just installed. All right then, y'all take care. Hey guys, how you doing? This is Brother Bill. I want to give a small update here out in the garden. That's James. He says hello and subscribe. Hey, but I wanted to touch base with you real quick. We have had a lot of rain in the last 3 days. I mean, some very heavy downpours. And today is the first clear day that we've had. But I do want to take you out in the garden. But before we get out there, this is the volunteer pumpkin plant that came up on the other side of the greenhouse. It has actually grown from the other side of the greenhouse over here around one of the rabbit cages and come all the way out here. But this is how much rain we've had. Look at that. You see that pumpkin? It imploded. Too much rain. Too much. That's all I can say. Just a whole lot of rain. All right, well, let me take you over here to the other side of the greenhouse. We do have some pumpkins. Like I said, these are all volunteer, so hopefully we're going to be able to get something out of those, give that to the chickens, because it's still too early. I got a pumpkin patch started across the field over there. But let me walk you out here to the garden. Like I said, it is absolutely saturated, and there's been some evidences of some creatures in here eating my corn too. But anyway, I don't know if you can see this. I'm stepping down into it. Look at that. See that? A mud ball. So that's what we're looking at. And over these 3 days, the weeds have tried to take over. And I've got weeds everywhere. Now here's what I want to show you. These varmints. Now I got a couple issues here. This is what it looks like. Here's a corn. You notice that it was laid down, and I'm only speaking from my experience. I'm not an expert. But anytime you see a corn laid over like this, but not peeled back off the stalk, that's tendency to be a squirrel. I know that just from over the 10 or so years that I've been gardening out here, and that seems to be the thing. Squirrels, they will eat that like that but a raccoon will typically take it off and sit there and eat it. That's usually what happens. Now, I have had raccoons out here in the last couple weeks, and they've been relocated, but squirrels are everywhere. They're coming from both sides of the creek, and they love my corn. They like it better than I do, I think. Here's another one. Let's see. Now, that might have been the rain. That was the rain. It just fell over. Okay. But I pulled up 10 cobs like that over the last few days while this rain was going on. And then over here, you can see it's just a muddy mess. Look out there. Look at all them weeds. Oh, it's awful. I mean, we'll get it. But that's what you're dealing with sometimes gardening. Those things are going to happen. Now, we appreciate the rain because the corn is actually filling up, which is what I wanted. Here's another one. Look at this. See that? Right there on the stalk? That's a squirrel. And now last year, I only have a small row of that hickory king. That's the taller corn there. And I had it going all the way down there last year, 2 rows. And they just come through there and just tearing things up. And so anyway, we still got 6 rows corn over there, so I'm not real concerned with it. And I got 2 additional rows planted here a little bit later. So that's what we got right here on the corn issue. I did notice across the field on the corn, I had put 2 rows out there, and the deer had come through. It's just one single deer come through and chopped it down. But since the rain, it's actually come back. I won't take you over there, but that actually may come back for us. I don't know. But as you can see, some of the plants love the rain. These are the squash plants. Now they have made a rebound because of the rain. Very green. There's no issues there on these plants. Or the cucumbers. So these down here on this end seem to have done well. And our McCaslin beans, they have taken off. But also I've noticed over the last couple of days, I don't know if you guys deal with June bugs or Japanese beetles or whatever you call them. See that right there? That's what that is. Seen them out here. They were all over it. Only on the top ones. Everything else seems to be okay. Now this is a white McCaslin green bean. Look at that. Look how big that bean is. So the rain has helped these out. But again, the tops of the leaves, I'll have to do something there with that. The sunflowers are doing well. Sunflowers are one of the toughest plants. They can handle just about anything. As you can see, they're looking real nice. Now, again, too much water on these pickling cucumbers. Look at this. It's just destroyed these cucumbers. I mean, we've got cucumbers, you can see, and they look okay, but the rain's just killed them. Both sides here and the other side over there. The pepper plants wasn't affected. And I noticed something else. You know, you hear all the time about keeping the tomatoes off the ground, the bottom part. You know, I've learned that helps in some cases, in others it don't. Don't know why, don't know if it's the seed, don't know if it's the kind of tomato. But I have actually got tomatoes laying on the ground. They've been on the ground. And there's no blight, there's no disease on those. While I got others that are completely off the ground. Let's see if I can find that thing. I saw it out here earlier. This may be it. No, that's going to be a good one. I did see it. Anyway, I saw one tomato that was actually off the ground about, gosh, 8 inches or so. The plant wasn't even near the ground, and it had blight on the bottom. Probably a calcium deficiency somewhere. But anyway, You really don't know for sure 100%. It's just experimental stuff. But you can see, look at the weeds. Every one of those plants is covered up with weeds. And I really can't do too much with a hoe. So I'll have to be out here in just a minute, get me some sweet tea to drink. And I'll have to get out here and pull these up. I don't pull them all the way up. I actually snap them off because it is so wet. I don't want to pull the plant up with it. So I'll have to get out here and get this done. And this new row here, this is a new row of indeterminate. And it's full of weeds down here too. See that? It's just stuff you got to do. And this corn over here, look at this. This corn had no weeds. But over the last 3 days of rain, I tell you what, it's come up in between those stalks. And so anyway, same thing with the okra. I did thin out the okra, but I didn't get the weeds. I just thinned it out. And I do want to show you something, the difference. This was an experiment. This is a burgundy okra. This right here, you can see because of the color of the stalk. See that? And that's what color the okra is going to be. Well, I got one right here. Let me show you. I want to show you something. Look at that. See that? That's the eating size right there. It's perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. But what I wanted to show you is this. I have a small row right here. This one. Okay? I started each one of those by seed in the greenhouse. I waited until they got to a certain height while this row was already in the ground, up and growing very good. Okay? I come out here and individually planted these okra plants, and I want you to see a difference. I don't know if it has anything to do with it or not. It's just something I was looking at. Look at the size of the stalk. Now this one, see? That's the one I individually planted the seed in the greenhouse and let it come up. That's this row right here. Okay? All right. So you see the stalk there. Now over here, this okra had been in the ground for about 10 days already. Look at the difference. Look how thin that is. See? So we got that. And then look at that. There's a difference. Twice as big. Does that matter? Don't know. Just thought I'd share it. Okay. Well, and I got something else out here I tried. Travis over there at Lazy Dog Homestead Farm. He plants his corn, the ambrosia corn, I plant ambrosia too, in double rows. And I saw his corn. Now this is where the green beans were, the bush beans, that we got almost 4 bushels. Really, we got almost 4 bushels out of a 100-foot row. And we tilled it up, and I come back through, and I planted the double row of corn. And I want to give it a whirl just to see. Now the way I planted it, I left enough room so I could come down the middle. You can see let's see if you can see that. So I've got that much room between the rows. So 6 to 7 inches between the rows. That'll give me a chance to get a hoe down there and take care of any weeds. So we've got that. But folks, I got a lot of work to do. Lots of work. But it's good work, you know. It's good work, and it'll pay off in the end. People will be blessed by it because they'll have some food. But the peppers are coming on. We've got nanner peppers. Okay, and then bell peppers are coming on. They're looking good. No issues. It's kind of strange because peppers like the heat. And we have had a lot of water. And they seem to be really coming along very well. Okay, real quick, I'll take you over here to the other side. There's a lot of work out here today and tomorrow. I'll be off today and tomorrow. But I want you to see the differences of the cucumbers. Okay, this whole row right here is cucumbers on this fence. Okay, this is a white cucumber. And again, look at all the weeds. Weeds are everywhere. Okay, that's the white cucumber right here. Okay, all right. But look at the plant, it's dying. But this plant is a pickling cucumber plant. It's doing well. Skip it, come down here. This one's dying. This one is dying. And this one is dying. But I noticed over the couple days the water was just settling right in here, in this area. Just too much water, too much water. And then down here, beyond that, they're looking great. All the plants are great. We lost a zucchini. It's not a vine borer. It's just too much water. Too much water. Again, this was a spot that seemed to hold the water more than the other places. And then over here we got our squash. Squash seems to be doing okay. The spaghetti squash, which is what this is, right there, that's huge. They seem to be okay. But then over here, well, these are some of the older squash plants. I'm going, again, they're not vine borers. There's nothing eating them, it's just excess of water. And so I'm going to end up losing, looks like, which I need to pull out anyway. I'm going to pull out 4 or 5 of those, replant, because I still got another 8 down through there that's producing. Plus we've got, looks like 3 more right here. And then we've got this row of cucumbers coming down through here. Now these are the cucumbers, they're called a poinsettia or poinsettia, so however you pronounce that. It's a good cucumber. And then we come down here. This right here is a row of the white cucumbers up on this fence, and I'm very pleased with this because for the last 2 years we've tried to grow cucumbers here and it hasn't worked. But over the winter I have been working with the soil and putting some amendments here, and it looks like it's going to be doing very well for us. There's lots of blooms, and I've seen bees on out here this morning. And look at my poor zucchini. Oh my goodness. I've pulled, these 3 plants have put out, I know they put out almost a whole bushel of zucchini, and it looks like I'm going to lose them. Again, this area right here was another spot. Once you come past the cucumber fence, the water was settling kind of right in here. So I think we're going to end up losing that, and it pushed these plants over. See, because I've dug down in here, there's nothing eating it. It was just so much water, it just pushed everything over. And I don't want to mess with them to hurt them anymore. Okay. All right, well that's all I got right now. I'm going to get in here, get me some tea, and get out here and get some of these. Oh my God, I can't stand it. Look at that. What a mess. Look at that. Good gravy. That's going to be a lot of work. I'll have to get the wheelbarrow out here to get all these weeds. Well, there's the update. I didn't catch anything last night. And, well, let me get in here and get some tea, and I'm going to get back out here. All right, then. We'll talk to you later.